General Keith Kellogg, the former National Security Advisor under Vice President Mike Pence. General, how significant is that, NATO isn't that important to us?
Well, thanks, Neil. Before I go, look, I listened to the last segment, and I'm an old oil field roughneck, field hand. My family's business was in oil. It was fascinating to listen to your segment. Incredibly well done with the former governor as well. Look, NATO is very important, but what I'm seeing in this whole thing going forward is all battles, all wars have branches and sequels, and there's more branches and sequels in this than I've got fingers and toes. It goes back to the viability of NATO, transference of Polish MiG-29s to Germany, then trying to get them into the Ukraine. Clearly Putin overestimating his army and underestimating Zelensky and the Ukrainian people, their willingness to fight. It goes on and on. It's just fascinating to watch, let alone the economic factors that you're seeing, what we're seeing even today with oil. But I think what Zelensky said is a major shift. When he says, look, I don't want to be necessarily part of NATO, that's like an olive branch to Putin. And we'll see what Putin wants to do. But I think Putin's been so embarrassed by the role of his military and how it's performed, and that he's got a pretty firm adversary in Zelensky, who's turned out to be quite Churchillian in what he says and how he acts. I'm not too sure that Putin doesn't want to go into for the kill. But look, Putin's got a real problem. He's got almost 100% of his army now pushed into Ukraine. He can't even get to the western part of Ukraine. He's going to be lucky if he even finishes the eastern part. And I think this thing still has some days to play, with Kyiv especially. And if he wants to go into a city, Neil, I'm telling you, armies hate fighting in cities. It eats up units, and the Ukrainians are going to fight. This could be, frankly, the Soviet Union Stalingrad. This may be the Russian Stalingrad, and the fight to the death coming in the near term.
General, a lot of people always wonder why, when it comes to these sanctions that get bigger and bigger, more painful and more painful, this Cheshire cat smile on Vladimir Putin's face. And many suspect because he has a backdoor way to get that oil to countries like China, maybe India. And speaking of China, sir, it is now looking at buying a stake in the Russian energy giant Gazprom. It's also looking at buying a very big player, the Rusal International, United Rusal International. It's a big aluminum player. So it seems like China is going to be there as a fallback for Russia. If it is, should they be looking also at sanctions from us for doing business with a country we in the Western world have sanctioned?
Look, Neil, I have said all along, our biggest adversary, growing adversary, is China. And they're just showing today, and their actions earlier, that they're no friend of the United States. They are looking for global dominance. They're going to push it. They're frankly probably looking at Putin right now and going, maybe that handshake wasn't such a good deal. This guy isn't as strong as we thought. But I understand the importance of Russia. I understand the importance of what's going on. It's primarily a European issue, even though he's got nukes. It's sort of like, I hate to say this, like Vermont National Guard with nukes, and I probably insulted the Vermont National Guard. But we need to keep focusing in on China, their economic growth, their military growth, and their diplomatic growth. And let me just finish with one thing. Here's what's kind of bothering me right now. There's no diplomatic overtures by the United States because we've got no relations right now with Russia. Biden has no ability to work with Putin. Putin doesn't like Biden. So we're looking outside. We see China talking to Macron. We see China talking to old Scholz. They're excluding us from the diplomatic conclusion. And all wars eventually end through diplomatic conclusions. We're just not there yet.
General, well put. Very good seeing you again, sir. Thank you.